Okay, this week's update. So brakes are pretty complete. Just have some minor adjustment, but I'm going to walk you through everything. So new bleeder valves. These are quick bleeder valves or bleeder screws. I'm pretty impressed by them. If you haven't used the ones that automatically, there's a check valve inside, so you don't have to hold the pedal down. You open the valve, pump it with a tube on it, and then when it runs bubble free, then you close it up. But you don't have to have two people. It was fairly easy. Hoses to the brackets that I built underneath the frame rails using a stock hole. The line runs across the cross member down to a brake T-fitting, and then the tiniest section I've ever made. It's probably about 1.5 inches, 2 inches. And then it curves. It curves, runs in between the steering box and the frame rail. I put a spare section of hose over it. There's a lot of friction that occurs in there. And then it passes around the engine mount and then it runs into the side of the cylinder, or the master cylinder. That's going to light up at all. There's really no getting around this. I would have to run it over. If I ever tear this thing apart, I'll probably cut a hole in it someday so I can run brake lines through there, but it's either over or under, and I chose under. And to the back, there's a 90-degree fitting, runs to a hose, which runs to a stock holder, which has the T pressed in there, down the sides of the arms, and then up behind to the wheel cylinder. All the threads are used with thread sealant. And what I highly recommend, I've hated doing brake lines for years because the flaring the tool, the cheap ones suck. I think I splurged. It was like $120 or $70 Amazon buy. You mount it in the vise on the bench, and you're able to get a perfect flare every time using the dies. Highly recommend it. This one's Tool Guy Republic, some kind of knockoff, I'm sure, of like an Eastwood tool, but it's on eBay for somewhere between 70 to 120 bucks. And then this guy came from a big parts store, or like maybe AutoZone, just a handheld tube bender. The most valuable part is the backing of these dies, so the hose doesn't crimp while you're trying to bend it over, like say a socket wall or something. It's contoured so the tubing gets bent. And then of course just standard .3 running through the lines. But she stops good. Well, I mean the brakes work. I wouldn't say I've driven it to stop it yet. I've got some adjusting to do. So now I've got pressure like right there, and then that's pretty good resistance. But I need to load the pedal. If you've never seen how this reverse leverage system works, so when the pedal gets pushed, it pulls the lever. It pulls this towards the engine, and then also as it's pivoting on this point, it pulls this into the master cylinder. So I've just had to do some adjustments. You can see the locking nut is loose on this. So putting some preload on it, and see I can kind of push it with my hand, so I should probably preload it more. That way I get into the the meat of braking quicker. As far as brake light, I hate those pressure switches. For years I've always bought like motorcycle electric brake light switches that come on when you pull out or come on when you push in. They're super easy to put somewhere where it pushes or pulls, and you can engage that brake light quicker. The pressure ones never seem to work right. Either they're too low of a pressure for your system or too high of a pressure for your system to where they don't even engage. So I highly recommend those electric switches. I'm thinking I'll build a bracket somewhere in this. I could even mount it to the top of the case, so as it pulls that way, and then just a 2 pigtail wire into your wiring circuit. But that's the update for today. I also been cleaning out these doors. This one's completely gutted, and I'm doing a whole bunch of rust treatment. Got to get it nice and clean. This was just as rusty, but you know, I have my tried and true method of getting rid of flash rust and slowly digging the rot out. But I'll take this door off eventually, touch it up, paint it up, preserve some of this original years and years of paint. This one had 1/4 inch glass. That one had 1/8, and you're supposed to have 3/16. So it's just part of getting these doors healthy. This one's about halfway gutted. Still got the door opener, the outside mechanism, the inside mechanism. Look at this. It's like carpet, 70s, 80s, 60s. It's just taped around the mount there. And then this is some kind of undercoat that Model A's didn't have inside the door to sound deaden it. And then all the bumpers and stuff are just dry and rotted. But that is the update. Next week, hopefully I can find someone to make the glass and start rehabbing all those doors. And then get it running again and start to get ready for the 12-volt conversion. Still haven't ordered a drive shaft, and that's on my list too. If you got any comments or questions, leave them below. Thanks. See ya.